Hey, how's it going? It's David Price here, and we just got our numbers for January. So this is our first full month of the new year. So really excited about these numbers, and it really shows a lot of things, right? It shows about where we were. It shows about the growth we're having. But more importantly, what these numbers really show me is the future and where we're going. I believe that we are going to be building something absolutely amazing. I believe we're doing it with the right core values, the right people, the right platform, the right system, and just ultimately in my head, it's just like, wow, we're building the dream team, right? And the dream team consists of agents, but it also consists of the employees, right? So I'll do some videos on that. But I'm stacking up the staff. So stacking up the payroll, the staff to handle all the future growth that we're having and really building a strong business. My name is David Price, and if you get value out of these videos, please make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and hit that little bell to alert you every time I make a video. Also, put some stuff in the comments, guys. The comments, like, I feed off the comments because the comments lets me know what you like, what you don't like, what I can make, what kind of questions are out there. Because the more I know about the kind of questions you have, the more I can make content around helping you guys be successful, not only as insurance agents, but as business owners working on building a system that will actually really provide you freedom. See, I see too many people that are top producers for 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and they never actually have somebody that takes the time to show them how to build a business. I have a goal over the next 24 months. I'm gonna get 10 people that are just going to focus on hiring, recruiting, training, and developing, and they won't have to personally produce to pay their bills. That's my goal, and I would do that with systems and processes, tracking data, hiring the right employees, and putting effort on empowering people. See, too many times I see in this business, they're scared to empower people. They're like, oh, if they're too good, they're gonna leave. If I help them too much, they're gonna leave. If they get too big, they're gonna leave. And I'm not about that at all. I'm gonna empower people, and if they decide they want to leave because I empowered them, guess what? That's a blessing, because I helped that person get into a better spot if they believe that's where it is. So we're gonna build people here, just because we're TPG and we're the people first IMO. So let's go over some numbers here, guys. And again, the reason I track this data and share it with you is, one, it holds me accountable because now I got to look at this data. Two, and make sure that we're doing a great job, because what I see too many times is people just focus on production numbers. They'll show you a leaderboard and like, look at this person did $40,000 in production that month, and that number by itself means absolutely nothing. How much did that person keep? How much did they take home? And that's important stuff. If you're in a business, it's very important to know how much money is actually translated into dollars in your bank account. And I want to teach people how to do that better, teach myself about it better by teaching it, right? Tracking it and teaching it, but ultimately help you guys do a better job with tracking your business. Because what you track, what you measure will improve, right? What you measure will improve. Brian Stuman taught me that, and I think he said someone taught him that. I don't remember, but it's true. Whatever I focus on measuring, it just improves. So January numbers. So January, we got out, we'll start with leads. We got out 6,629 leads. So in December, we got out 3,635 leads. So that's an 82% increase in leads. Think about that. 82%. That's 82% growth. That's insane from December to January. That's just 1 month's growth. So that is an amazing number. The lead investment went from $72,700 to $128,450, right? So that's 76.7% increase in lead investment. So again, huge numbers. Our average cost per lead went down $1, went to $19, mostly because we had a bunch of sales on leads at a certain point to really give back and help push towards the end of the month. So the The average cost per lead came down 3%. Now, writing agents, remember, November we had 43, December we had 56, and now we had 80 writing agents in the month of January, right? So a huge increase. That's a 42% increase in writing agents. So again, just a lot of growth. Everything so far, the numbers look great, nothing alarming, right? Everything's just showing growth. The next number is applications submitted. So December, we had 446 applications submitted. January, 753 applications submitted. That's an increase of 68%. Think about that, guys. TPG grew 68% from December to January. That's great numbers. That's amazing numbers. And what's really cool about that is, I do have a reputation for recruiting and spending a bunch on recruiting and hiring people to cause that growth. Guys, I'm spending $0 on recruiting right now. There's no ads. I don't have any job postings. I'm not running any Facebook ads. All our recruiting has been organic. And what it's been people that have been in this business too long that are doing their $20,000, $30,000 a month and not seeing what they thought they're gonna see, or not having any true vision on building a business. And they're coming to me and they're asking to come work with me, right? And the other thing that we're having that's causing a lot of this growth is the new agent, brand new, or the agent that hasn't had success before, is plugging into our systems and right away making a sale off their first set of leads. When typically that ends up being a very unusual thing in this business for some reason. So we're having a lot of people, they're having success right off the bat. And then we also have the people that are seasoned that just need a better opportunity. They want someone to show them how to build a business. So because of those two things, I haven't had to spend $1 on recruiting. So that's really cool. We're hiring a lot of great talent and we're developing talent. Two things that you want to do if you're building a business. All right, so where we're at. So we did 753 applications. That's increased at 68.8%. Total production. These are really cool numbers. So November, we're at $282,094. No, not $282,949. December, $473,459, right? Great months. January, $766,165. Again, that's a 61% increase. Again, production, right? 61% increase, 61.8% increase to be exact. So really cool numbers to see. Just really excited about that. Now, close rate on leads, it went down slightly. It went down 0.91%, so less than 1%. So of course, that's going to fluctuate here and there. Just to go over, so November was 11.36%. Closing ratio went up to 12.27% in December, and then January went down back to 11.36%. It's actually matched November's numbers. And I think we could have improved on that. We did make some mistakes, so we created a new lead. And we were having some issues with that lead. So we went back to the drawing board and went back to what was working. And again, right, that's me just being fully transparent. I'm going to go over my wins, my losses. I want to be the most transparent person in this business, so you know what you get. So we made a mistake. We created a new lead. It was going to be a super high intent lead. We will go back to that, but we just have a couple things that we want to work on beforehand. We also brought on a developer, so they're going to help us with some stuff on the tech side, right? So I want to be real tech heavy. So we're going to hire a bunch of tech guys to really help with that. Tech guys and women, of course. Cost per application, right? Cost per acquisition, right? CPA, cost per acquisition. So basically cost to acquire a client is at $170.58, right? So you spend $170, you got a client, right? So that's what you want to know. And if you are an insurance agent, that's a super important number for you. So you want to know how to track what does this cost you to acquire a client, because that's if that number is more than what your commission is, then that's not good. If that number is close to what that commission is, and that's not good. Like that's where it's showing, that's where you got to figure out your profit. So you need to know what the cost is to acquire a client. So November is $175. December, we got it down to $163. And then January, it went up a little bit to $170, right? So average production per application, right? So think about it. Cost to acquire the client was $170. Our average production was $1,017. So think about that. So it's cost you $170 to submit $1,017 worth of business. So think about that. If you're on a 100% contract, if you're on it 120, 110, 115, whatever that contract is, you kind of figure out your math and get in there, and you can see there's room for profit. So think about that. And then also too, when it comes to contract, another thing I learned is that you don't average your top contract. You have to average all the policies you write. So if you're on a 120, but a lot of stuff you write might be on a 60 or 70, and some stuff might be on a 30 or 40, you got to average those all together to see what your average commission is, and then use that number to average in with your average production per client. And then you have that number, then your cost to acquire that client, and you put those together. And now you're figuring out, do you have a profitable business here, right? So like if you have a lot of brand new agents just getting started out and they're having problems being successful, it's because those numbers are out of whack. That's what it comes down to. That's it. Those numbers are out of whack. So those numbers are super important if you want to grow a business, because you can't grow a business if you can't help new people be successful. So let's see, average production per lead, average production per agent. Now this number is probably the number I'm most excited about. So average production per agent typically is going to go down as you grow, right? So we're having massive growth. And usually when you have massive growth, the production per agent is going to keep going down. It's just normal, right? It's like the law of large numbers. You can't do anything about that. So just a recap, in November was $6,580, right? So that means the average agent did $6,580 for the month of November. December, the average agent did $8,454 for the month, right? So that number went up from November to December. So I was really excited about that. But I also thought it was a fluke, to be honest, right? I was like, well, we can't keep this going. The average agent in January went to $9,577. So think about that. The average agent is doing close to $10K a month in submitted business. Where do you see that? You don't see that ever, like average, right? You don't see that ever. So that really shows me something is really special here. That's an increase of 13.3%, which is great. Like those are like normal increases, like 13%. The only problem is we're increasing a number that should be decreasing. Not should be decreasing, but generally would decrease, right? So very grateful that it is increasing. And what that shows, my focus is helping the average agent be successful. So that's what that's doing. So that if the average agent does 10K a month and it only costs them $170 to acquire a client, then that's really, really good. That's really good. That's showing that people are making money. Average people are making money. Obviously, anyone above average is doing very, very well. So leads to agent ratio. Again, as you get bigger, this number tends to go down just because you are hiring more people. People aren't committed. They don't order leads. You can't really, never really figure out how to make someone order leads that doesn't want to order leads. I thought it was a simple thing, right? I want to sell a product. I find how to get in touch with people that are interested in that product. Buying leads is like a hack to that, like literally a shortcut, a hack. You buy those leads, you get in touch with those people, you learn how to sell that product, you learn how to make some money, and so on. So that's a whole nother video I could do sometime about that. But our leads to agent ratio was 60 leads per agent, right? So that's 60 leads a month per agent, which again, nothing, I mean, it's an exciting number. December, it went up to 64.91 leads per agent. So, a little bit of growth, so that was cool. But in January, it was 82.86. So if you really think about that, that means the average agent's taking 20 leads a week. And if you have a business, an agency, and you can figure out how the average agent takes 20 leads a week, you're going to absolutely crush it. Because that's the thing I always try to figure out, right? Based off how many agents have. So the average agent's taking 20 leads a week. So that went up 27.7%. So again, showing tons of growth, great numbers, really excited. So the ROI, right? ROI is your return on investment. Again, this is like an important number to track. And listen, I'm guilty. I didn't track this number for a long time. I told agents, oh, just go to work, just go to work, just go to work. And then I realized I was doing them a disservice. I have no problem admitting when I'm at fault, where I made mistakes. That was one of them. Now, in the beginning, yes, you want to focus on learning for sure. But after a year, right? Or like at some point, like you need to start being like, all right, cool, this is a business. I need to see where our numbers are and how to improve them, and make sure things are still working, where I'm still going to create a profitable business and be successful long term, right? Because no one came here, got their insurance license to dabble, right? You don't want to come like, let me get my insurance license, I'll sell insurance for like a year or two and then go do something else. I don't think that's anyone's goal. So ROI, so at 100% contract, we got 496%, 110 is 556%, 120 is 615%, 130 is 675%, and then a 140 is 735%. So what does that mean? So just think at, if it was 500%, because really 496 at 100% contract. So this thing, 500% would be basically every dollar our agents invest that are on a 100% contract basically get $5 back. If they're on a 120, they're basically getting a little bit more than $6 back for every dollar they invest. So again, I'm rounding. So just think the percentages would be about 100%. So super excited about these numbers. I'm excited to see February, March. My goal is for us to break $1 million in production. I feel like we are on the path to do that. And I'm excited, man. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you like this video, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell, throw some questions in the comments. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that reaches out to me all the time, that says they watch my videos and they get something out of it. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And don't forget, start tracking your numbers and never settle.